Now we'll continue with the other disease. Okay, this is the second protozoan disease, that is amoebiasis. Okay, it is what? It is amoebiasis, that is amoebic dysentery. So the pathogen here is Ant amoeba histolytica. You have to remember the name, that is Ant amoeba histolytica. The name, with the help of the disease name, you can remember that amoebiasis is caused by Ant amoeba histolytica. Mode of transmission is house flies, which are mechanical carriers. They transmit parasites from feces to food and water. And symptoms are constipation, abdominal pain, and cramps, stool with excess mucus and blood clots. Okay, so this disease will cause what? Constipation, abdominal pain, okay, cramps, stools with excess mucus and blood clots. Okay, so this is the disease which is amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery, which is caused by specific pathogen, that is Ant amoeba histolytica. Okay, now this is another helminth disease. Okay, and this is Ascariasis. It is what? Ascariasis. It is caused by the pathogen Ascaris, that is the intestinal parasite. So mode of transmission is spores are present in soil, water, vegetable, fruits, etc., contaminated with feces containing eggs of parasites. Symptoms are internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of the intestinal passage. Okay, so you can see here the diagram of this. Now this worm, the spore form can enter into the human, and it can convert it, and it can grow into the body of the human. Okay, it can cause allergy, it can cause pulmonary migration, it can migrate to the lungs. Gut obstruction can be seen, and malnutrition can be seen, because all of the nourishment is taken by this worm, as it is a parasite. So the common pathogen, the name of this pathogen is Ascaris, who is responsible for causing the disease Ascariasis. Mode of transmission is soil, water, vegetables, fruits, etc., contaminated with feces containing eggs of parasites. Symptoms are internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of the intestinal passage. Okay, now comes the helminth disease. Okay, now this helminth disease is filariasis. Okay, this is and other name is elephantiasis. Now in this disease, the worm, that is the genus Wuchereria. Okay, Wuchereria, you can say is like this. Now which are responsible? Okay, specific species, that is Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria malai. This is caused by the bite of a female Culex mosquito. Symptoms are filarial worms, like the filarial worm, okay, which live in the lymphatic vessels, usually of lower limbs. It causes chronic inflammation of the organs in which they live for many years, and limbs and genital organs may be deformed. See here, you can see in the diagram, in the last two diagrams, the groin area is also infected, the whole foot is infected with the leg, and here the legs are infected. Okay, so this is caused by filarial worms. It is due to the bite of the Culex mosquito, and it infects what? This worm lives in the lymphatic vessels, and it will cause suddenly chronic inflammation of the organs in which they live for many years. Limbs and genital organs may be deformed. Now comes the fungal disease, that is the ringworms. Okay, pathogen is the Microsporum trichophyton and Epidermophyton. These are all the genus name. Okay, and they are seen in the groin region between the toes, where the sunlight is not able to reach, where light is not able to reach, the area which is very wetty, which is shaded. Okay, these because as we know that fungus generally grow in the moist environment. Okay, we can give an example, like when you are eating bread in monsoon season. Okay, and when you keep that bread for 1 to 2 days in outer environment, you will see rhizopus on that bread. Okay, that is the mold. So whenever water and light is not there in this particular areas which are shady and which are protected, in that areas this pathogen will grow. So the genus causing ringworms are the Microsporum trichophyton, Epidermophyton, and this is the characteristics like a coin like structure will be formed, and it will be getting wider and wider. So pathogen is microsporin, trichophyton, and epidermophyton. Okay, and we have to remember that this is only an outer skin infection. It will not go inside the body. Mode of transmission is from soil or by using towels, clothes, comb, etc. Heat and moisture help fungi to grow. So this can be a dermatophyte fungus, not washing hands properly, close contact with the infected, and damp skin for extended time. Okay, now the symptoms are the skin will become dry, scaly, lesions will be there on skin, nails, and scalp, and intense itching will be there. Okay, so how you can prevent these common infections in humans? Okay, now common infections are there, so you can keep a check on the personal hygiene, like you can keep the body clean, use clean drinking water, food, etc. Okay, then public hygiene is also responsible, like proper disposal of waste and excreta should be there. Periodic cleaning and disinfection of the water reservoir, pools, cesspools, and tanks should be there. We should avoid contact with infected person or their belongings to control the airborne disease like corona. Okay, as we are keeping ourselves protected from COVID. Now standard practices of hygiene in public catering should be there. Okay, and we should control and eliminate the vectors like the mosquitoes, which are carrier of many diseases. Now you can see here, control and any elimination of vectors can be done by avoiding the stagnation of water. Okay, so here in the diagram you can say that this water is stagnant outdoors, so mosquito will grow in this water. Okay, this is also the stagnant water. Okay, so mosquito larva will grow and the population of mosquito will increase. Also, we should do regular cleaning of the household coolers to avoid the elimination of vectors like mosquito. Okay, then we should use mosquito nets. We can introduce larvivorous fishes like gambusia in the ponds, which will eat the larva. Okay, and we can also spray insecticides in ditches, drainage, and swamps. Or also we can provide doors and windows with wire mesh, which will protect which will avoid the vector borne disease like malaria, filariasis, dengue, and chikungunya from entering into the carriers of these disease in entering into the house. Okay, so the basic hygiene practices are we can keep our body clean and also use clean drinking water. Public hygiene is also important. Then we can eliminate the vectors by avoiding stagnation of water. Okay, also regular cleaning also of the household coolers, use of mosquito nets, introduce larvivorous fishes like gambusia in the ponds, spraying insecticides in ditches, drainage, and swamps, provide doors and windows with wire and mesh. Okay, now finally vaccinations and immunization are helping us to control disease like smallpox, polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus. And drugs like antibiotics also help to treat infectious disease. Okay, so here we saw various diseases in this, like the fungal disease, which was the ringworm. Okay, helminth disease, which was the filariasis caused by Wuchereria, Bancroftia, and Malai. Ascariasis caused by Ascaris, and the amoebiasis disease. Okay, so in this section we finished the infectious disease and what are the hygiene practices we can practice in our daily life to eliminate or keep ourselves protected from these diseases. Okay, now you know that nowadays vaccination is there and vaccination is provided to everyone. Okay, we are also waiting for the vaccine of this COVID. Okay, so these all practices, these all things can be practiced by us, and we can help in reducing the infections due to these diseases. Okay.